Good day everyone, I am Ma'am Leonie Pajarnas and I am here to discuss about the continuation of overview to ethical theory, specifically the virtue and feminist theory. For our learning objectives, at the end of the lessons, the students should be able to articulate the habituation of virtue as a mean between two vices, understand how virtue ethics can be helpful in considering practical ethics, and identify the types of feminism. Let's define what is virtue ethics is. Virtue ethics is very unique as its own ethical theory where consequentialist ethics focuses on outcome of any situation and judge what is wrong or right based on it. While the ontological ethics focuses on duty and inherence of laws. Virtue ethics does not focus on how we should behave, it doesn't provide rules and rules but rather it focuses on the character of a person. It is about developing into a virtuous person and living a moral life. It's not like what should I do, but rather what kind of person should I be. First, we need to understand the concept of Aristotle, the theory of causation. He believed that everything in reality is working towards telos. It was an end or what we called purpose. Everything had a telos and it is judged as good or bad based on how it fulfills its purpose. For example, the telos of a knife is to cut something. If a knife is able to cut on what human wanted to and it reached its telos, then it fulfills its purpose. But if it cannot cut anything, then it is not fulfilling its purpose, therefore it is a bad knife. Like human being is exactly the same. We all have a telos and we have a purpose, the same purpose for each and every one of us. Aristotle referred to the concept of eudaimonia. It is a type of happiness or what we call pure happiness or bliss. The ultimate goal for being alive is to full satisfaction, our self-fulfillment. Everything we do describe to what eudaimonia is. Everything we desire because we believe it will make us happy. If you ask someone, bakit nga ba tayo nagtatrabaho? They will say, to earn money. But if you ask them back, why to earn money? They will say, to pay my rent or to buy my clothes, to buy my food, or everything we need. But if you ask them, why do you want this? They will say, ultimately, it is to have a better quality of life and be happy. Another example, you can ask someone, why are you going to a date? Bakit ba tayo nakikipag-date? Ba't ba tayo kumikilala ng ibang tao? They might say, to find true love. But when you ask them why do you want to find true love, they might say, they want to get married, they want to start a family. Then, why do you want all of this? Bakit mo ginagawa ang lahat ng yun? Because the reason is, it will make you happy. Now, in order for us to fulfill the purpose of eudaimonia, Aristotle believed we must live a virtuous life. This is vital to the telos of human being. Virtue is a character trait that makes us a better person. Just like the telos of knife to cut, telos of bed to give comfort, virtue make a good human being. It is a moral trait for us to be happy. We must always work to become a better people, to develop virtuous character. Ethical theory is about the character of individual. Virtue ethics is centered around how should I be, how should I live, and how to improve myself. Now let's proceed to the Aristotle doctrine of mean or also called golden mean. It is the understanding that the virtue lies in two vices. Aristotle say that any extreme is a vice and the virtue lie in between these two extremes. So let's talk about the moral virtue of courage. In between two vices, where one extreme is deficiency, the deficiency of courage is what we called cowardice. And the other extreme is a vice, we can say that this is the excess. So the excess of courage is recklessness. So using practical wisdom, we can assess the situation and With the golden mean, we can determine the virtue of action. For example, the virtue of ambition, the another virtue of Aristotle. For example, we work 24 hours a day and you never see your family, your friends, and you neglect everything, your career, your friends. It is still a vice. But if you never work and stay lazy all the time, do what you want, and it is also a vice. Ambition lies in the middle of what we called golden mean. But how about generosity? Yung binigay mo lahat ng pera mo sa charity, then wala ka ng matirahan, wala ka ng gamit, binigay mo na lahat-lahat sa'yo, iisipin ng iba, that would be a foolish. But, kapag ka naman masyado kang kuripot, you will never give money to charity and buy anyone a gift. It is also not a good trait. And we should use practical wisdom to know when to be generous and when to be not. So some people might say that the golden mean is quite complicated. For example, in adultery. Paano kung yung husband mo malapit lang talaga doon sa kanyang girl best friend and then hindi niya kinoconsider yun na as cheating or adultery. Pero nakikita ng ibang tao na wala naman na silang limitation. Girl, ano man yung motibo niyan, that is micro-cheating. And there are things na kahit sabihin natin na konting amount lang naman yung ginawa natin, o moderate lang naman yung kasalanan na ginawa natin, it's still a biases. It's still negative attitude or character na hindi natin masasabi na virtue. Virtue is a good character that makes us a good person. So, hindi siya good trait. On the other hand naman, kapag ka masyado kang martyr, binigay mo yung lahat-lahat sa'yo, sa partner mo, masyado kang faithful sa kanya, as in, na-compromise na yung self mo, yung hindi mo na makita yung totoong ikaw, that is still a vices. Because, hindi na ikaw yan eh, binigay mo na yung lahat sa'yo. And hindi mo na fulfill yung true happiness mo because nakapokus ka doon sa partner mo. Sa madaling salita, yung concept ng golden mean, which is in between of two extreme or what we call two vices, lahat ng sobra ay masama at lahat din naman ng kulang ay hindi maganda. So, we should implement the right amount of righteousness in every decision we want to make in life. This is what feminism actually is and what society thinks of feminism is. Nowadays kasi, masyadong triggered yung karamihan sa atin dun sa mga tinatawag na alpha female o yung tinatawag din natin na strong independent woman, which is akala nila ang intention ng mga kababaihan is to dominate man. Yung magmagaling ba na siya nila yung magaling sa lahat. Wherein hindi nila naiintindihan yung context na gusto lang naman natin mawala yung gender oppression o yung pagmamaliit sa mga kakayahan ng isang babae. Which is, alam naman natin na ang kababaihan ay capable. We are capable of doing what we want and we are capable of expressing our skills when it comes to political, social, and economic aspect. I know a lot of you are familiar in the word patriarchal when it comes to political aspect. Alam naman natin na noong 19th century or noong many years ago na ang may karapatan lang sa political aspect, yung pagtakbo, or even in education is yung mga kalalakihan, which is yung mga babae, hindi sila nagkakaroon ng karapatan na makapag-aral or magawa yung mga gusto nila, such as gusto nila ng maging businesswoman, kung gusto man nila maging painter, or etc. Kumbaga noong panahon ng mga Kastila, they don't even have a right to go outside because ang sabi nga nila, ang kababaihan ay dapat nasa loob lang ng bahay. Ang role lang ng mga babae nung panahon ng mga Kastila o nung mga many years ago is to reproduction. Naniniwala ba kayo na the essence of woman is just being a mother? Tagapanganak lang ba tayo ng bata? Tagagawa lang ba tayo ng tao? The answer is big no. Kasi sa panahon natin ngayon, wherein the dating is hard. Kasi karamihan sa mga lalaki, aminin man natin o sa hindi, kapag ka unwanted yung pregnancy is marami sa kanila ang tinatakbuhan yung responsibilidad, which is si girl o yung kababaihan is nawawalan ng choice kundi ipagpatuloy yung buhay ng mag-isa. So, she can be both mother and father at the same time. So, doon pa lang, makikita na natin na she is capable. She is capable to provide finances. She is capable of taking care of the kids. Hindi lang siya pang bahay lang, kung hindi, kaya din niya maging competitive sa mga kalalakihan. The four basic concept of feminism is working to increase equality, expanding human choice, and elimination of gender stratification, and ending sexual violence and promoting sexual freedom. Now, let me introduce to you the four basic types of feminism. The first is liberal feminism. It focuses on women's ability to maintain equality through their own actions and choices. Liberal feminism is simply just men and women are being treated fairly and equally. Next is social feminism. It is a movement to end capitalism through social reformation. It strengthens and support to end capitalism because only men are the one who currently have the power and the money. Kung matatandaan ninyo sa Chinese dynasty, wherein mas natutuwa sila kapag ang anak nila ay lalaki dahil naniniwala sila na ang dapat lang na magmana ng kumpanyang pinaghirapan nila o ang dapat lang na maging CEO ay ang mga kalalakihan. And yung mga babae, hindi sila nagkakaroon ng opportunity na ipagpatuloy yung legacy ng pamilya nila. And worse is, ang nangyayari pa doon sa Chinese tradition is, yung mga babae, ninineglect sila, o yung mga anak nilang babae is pinapatay or pinababayaan or ipinamimigay. Let's proceed to radical feminism. Radical feminism is a movement that believes that sexism is deeply rooted in the society itself. And they believe that the only cure is to eliminate the gender itself completely. And they also believe that female oppression roots back to women's biological responsibility on reproduction as well as male sexual pleasure. Tulad nga po ng sinabi ko kanina, the essence ba ng woman is just being a mother? Yun lang ba yung purpose natin? Yung mag-produce ng mga baby as well as isatisfy yung sexual needs ng inyong mga partner. For example, yung asawa mo, in-hit siya. Pero ikaw pagod ka and wala ka sa mood gawin yung bagay na yun. Pero dahil yung asawa mo mapilit, sasabihin niya sa'yo na, asawa kita, responsibility mo na gampanan at punan yung pangangailangan ko sexually. So, si babae parang nawawalan siya ng choice na humindi. So, kesa mag-away pa sila o humaba pa yung usapin, pinagbibigyan na lang nila. Which is, radical feminism is, hindi sila pabor sa ganong idea. Mas gusto nga nila, kung makikita nyo sa picture natin, this would be children created. But how would this be possible? Na mag-produce ng mga bata gamit yung mga modern technologies. Lastly is cultural feminism. It emphasizes the essential differences between men and women based on differences in reproductive capacity. Cultural feminism attributes to those differences distinctive and superior virtues in women. What women share in this perspective provides a basis for sisterhood, unity and solidarity, and shared identity. The best example of this is our Miss Universe pageant, wherein nagkakaroon ng voice yung mga candidate ng Miss Universe na i-share yung values nila, yung culture nila, yung advocacy nila to empower fellow women. For the assessment part, feel free to pause and read it. To furthermore understand what is feminism, let's watch this video.
Throughout the years, women have played major roles in the Filipino society. From the babaylans of the pre-colonial era, the women of the revolution who fought against colonial rule, up to today's women figures who continue to fight against gender oppression. After all the battles and obstacles women in the Philippines have faced, it is important that we know the roots of how strong our women really are. Before the word feminism ever existed, there was the babaylan. The babaylans served as the female political and socio-economic identity that played a major role in the Philippine pre-colonial societies, otherwise known as barangay or balangay. The babaylans' role in culture, religion, medicine, and other theoretical knowledge were crucial in each barangay. They had the right to own property, obtain divorce, and remarry. Women could either be the chief of the barangay or a priestess. They were in no way below the datu, who was considered the leader of the tribe but instead worked side by side in making decisions and conducting important social activities for the community. The role of the babaylan was not only given to women, but to men as well, who were mostly effeminate or blatantly homosexual. Women's involvement in male-dominated affairs can be traced back to the Spanish colonial rule, to the Philippine-American War, and to the following years. The Spanish friars demonized the babaylan, saying that they practiced witchcraft and were endowed with powers from black magic. With this, the friars were able to take control of women and their bodies through aggressive Christian indoctrination. Although the colonizers suppressed a lot of Filipino culture and practices like that of the babaylan, Filipino women still played major roles in their communities in regards to revolution and liberation of the Filipino people from the colonial rule. Gabriela Silang is best known for being the first female leader of a Filipino movement for the independence from Spain. This is where the present local feminist organization Gabriela patterned its name after. Melchora Aquino, or Tandang Sora, played a big role in the revolution by using her store as a refuge for the sick and wounded. The women of Malolos struggled to disprove that women were destined to stay at home and take care of the children. They demonstrated that women are equal with men when it came to education. The post-colonial years were considered an era of peace and freedom for the Filipinos. After gaining independence from the United States, there seemed little need for women to demand any new reforms. It wasn't until the 1969 elections, known to be one of the dirtiest in the country's history, where things got worse. Women's organizations, alongside students, protested against the corrupt Marcos dictatorship. The assassination of Benigno Ninoy Aquino sparked outrage among many Filipinos overnight. The biggest alliance of women's groups that was crystallized by the Aquino assassination was Gabriela. It was the first attempt in unifying the women's organizations around a feminist agenda. Gabriela had added more specific objectives to the Philippine feminist movement, such as providing a framework or perspective for an analysis of the problems of Filipino women, forwarding women's demands through a 1985 Declaration on Rights and Welfare of Filipino Women, and building an international network of solidarity. At present, the Philippine feminist movement has come a long way, but still has miles to go in terms of gender equality. With the current administration, it has also become harder for the feminist movement to speak up about issues that affect women. The feminist groups and organizations in the Philippines are continuing to resist and repudiate tactics that silence those who fight against gender oppression. It may seem challenging and daunting to speak up because of recent events, but every voice counts in order for us to move forward and achieve a gender-equal society. From the Babaylan, to the women of the colonial revolution, to the activists against dictatorship, and to the present-day feminists, there is no doubt that the Philippines has always had strong women. We have history to prove it. We must continue their fight against oppression and towards a more gender-equal society, and to a brighter and more progressive nation.